Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, thank you for your attention today throughout this arson trial. Today I stand before the court as an assistant district attorney, tasked to ensure justice is served in the case before you, a case of arson, which is the intentional setting of a fire to destroy property. I will take you through a brief history of arson to further explain why it is such a serious crime, but also to argue such a fitting punishment for this arson case. First, let us begin by giving the history of arson. In general, fire was always used to be a tool for survival or a weapon, even in like the caveman times. But over time and throughout history, societies realized that fire could be used for other purposes, to maliciously bring down somebody or hurt someone. And that's kind of how these arson laws came about. Like I said, arson's been around for many, many years. And in medieval times and in England, when people used to use arson and do destructive things, there used to be way harsher punishments back then. And today, arson is still one of the most severe crimes to date. Why? Because not only does it destroy somebody's property, it affects the whole community as well. It doesn't just affect one home, it can affect multiple homes. That's the severity of fire. It's wild. And arson is the intentional act to use violence against another person or a community. One fire can cause so much harm, whether it be a business, a home, a park, anywhere, a car, it doesn't matter. So why is arson a crime? Like I said before, not only is it wild and dangerous, but fires are very unpredictable. It can spread faster than you think, faster than a wildfire, and it can cause more damage than one intended. You might want to harm one person's home and it might cause up a whole community. It not only just endangers the lives of people's properties, but the public safety. And the laws are there for a reason. Arson is not only just about the destruction of property, but also it can be an act of revenge or another motive. It doesn't matter, but it is the act of it being an intentional act. It doesn't matter if it's a business competitor, a ex-wife, or simply just wanting to destroy something. Arson is committed with the intention to harm something or someone. And that's why knowing the intent is critical in cases where it's either an accident or negligence or it's actually an intentional act. And in this case, the defendant acted with a purpose. We will be deliberating on this case today, but we must consider the right punishment for arson. The law provides a clear outline for punishments and just how wildly this impacts others around them. Not only, does it call for a potential for loss of life, it, like I said, can cause a whole destruction for communities and the cost of rebuilding and people being out of homes and losing their memories it's unbearable to some. They're losing their whole entire life in the whole process. So I think that the punishments kind of reflect on how seriousness the crime is, and especially in acts of arson. The right punishment for this case must reflect the defendant's intentional actions and the consequences of those actions. The fire was not random, it was planned, and it was targeted to address people, to hurt people. So, ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today, and I ask you kindly to remember that arson is not just a burning of a building, but it also attacks other families, communities, and it shows a disregard of human life. It's a dangerous, wild act to literally inflict harm on others while they seek the joy from it. So I urge you to find a defendant guilty of arson, and this will not only bring justice to those families, but also send a clear message to the community that destructive behavior is not the way to go, and that we do care about human safety. So thank you.